I think the next thing is to fix my screw up from not reading instructions here, which is gonna mean pulling out this whole skid and then re-drilling that lower hole there and putting this bolt through that hole on both sides. However, I think I can compress the suspension with a ratchet strap under these two front ones and perhaps make sure that everything's clear from behind and drill those out without having to completely remove this nice skid. So we'll give that a shot. Well, surprise, surprise, I got the second hole drilled right there in the correct spot on both sides, and there was no issue doing it without the skid completely pulled out. I was able to create plenty of room for it. I just made sure that this wasn't in the way underneath here. The issue now, and it is the correct size, bolt fits through. The issue now is this bolt is supposed to go through from this side with washers, but it's bottoming out on my Skins lightweight rounding boards. So I don't know how this is going to work. I really don't want to take these running boards off because if you noticed, that is a lot of rivets. Really don't feel like doing that. Just to put this in. I can slide it in most of the way, but that's not going to fly. So, time to sit back and figure out what I'm going to do here. Whether I'm going to take all those rivets out, take the running board off, put the bolt in, and then put the running board back on. Or, yeah. Oh, I got some decisions to make here. Kind of out of other ideas, because this bolt has to thread its way in, because it's got to spin into this shaft, obviously, as it goes in. So, yeah, not a whole lot of options. I'll keep you posted what I decide to do. Good times. Well, don't think I have a whole lot of other options. Gotta get the bolt in that one there. Not gonna fit the head with this running board on. Of course, this running board is fatter here than the stock ones. I got my old stock ones over here, so you can see that if it was just this thin section here, you probably still get that bolt in no problem. I broke those a while back and upgraded to these beauties, which I like. They're a little narrower, lighter, better traction, clear the snow better. However, they don't clear the bolt any better for this conversion setup. So, sadly, I'm gonna start drilling a whole bunch of rivets out. Remove that, get the bolt in, then see what I gotta do to make the running board fit around the bolt. I don't know if I'll just have to hammer a notch into the back of that running board or what, but I will keep you posted. It's turning into a shindig. So I got the bolt in. That's the good news. The bad news is that will not fit in. I left the running board part way attached while I got the bolt in, hoping against hope that I could somehow wedge that in through there. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to modify this running board a little bit between the red marks there. Just marked it with a Sharpie. I think I'm gonna have to hammer it. I don't know. Make it really thin. It's either that or the stock ones go back on, because that is too fat. And I don't want to have a setup where the only way I can pull that bolt, and hence the skid, would be by removing this. So ideally, I want to make that thin enough that I can go in that gap between here and that bolt, so that I can remove that bolt should I want to remove the skid without having to pull this running board again. So I think it's time to start heating that up and hammering. Hopefully I don't completely ruin it. I really hope. We shall see. Well, it's not pretty, but it will work. Now at least I can remove the skid without having to remove my running board. The question is whether I'll have to remove my running board because it breaks. Yeah, I just flattened it up there. Very likely, I'd say I created a weak spot in that running board, which is sad, but time will tell, I guess. Not many other options besides putting the stock ones back on, which wasn't going to happen because they're broken. This tab on the end I broke right off on my stock ones. So this little bit of ugliness is part of the customization, I guess. Not my favorite solution by any means. Ugh. That's probably my least favorite solution. But anyhow, that's why it's called Mediocre Garage, right? Anyway, I'm gonna bolt this piece of ugliness back on there. Luckily, this sled's getting so many nice looking new parts that this little bit of ugliness, nobody will notice once it's covered in snow, except for me. I will never not notice it. Anyway, time to carry on. So, she's back on. Whole bunch of new rivets. And she's good to go. Still gotta tighten those two bolts. Probably gonna forget, but anyway. There's the shindig. Yes, I know. I'm acutely aware of the fact that it looks ugly. However, it is functional, and it should allow me to pull this bolt out past here. Worst case scenario, I might have to drill one rivet out, but then all you're doing is replacing one rivet, and that's quite doable. Yeah, now I got to do flop it over, pull the other running board off the other side, do the same thing, hammer it down, make it look ugly, install the bolt in the new lower hole that's already drilled on the other side there, can hardly tell because it's already kind of lined up down there. And then I will be done. The Ice Age Khaos conversion kit, bomber rails, and the elevate spindle setup. That should be, once I get the other side, that bolt in on the new hole, we should pretty much be done here, with the exception of the limiter strap. So there's two things you could do here. You can adjust this one, or you can buy one from Ice Age that comes with 3 settings. Honestly, once I flip it over and destroy the other running board on the other side, we're good, we're done. This is it for the Khaos conversion kit. Then of course, all that's left, is hacking the end of that off and throwing the boondocka cooler in here. So yeah, coming along. Time to flip this baby over and start hacking the other running board out. Here goes. Up next, you gotta adjust the limiter strap. I've got the new one from Ice Age that's adjustable. So I've got the floor jack set up here to put pressure on that part of the track. I'll unbolt that and bolt on this new puppy that has 3 holes for adjustability. So one of these settings will be exactly the same length as what is on there. And then the next setting will be Khaos. And then after that is extra sporty mode. So yeah, time to change out the limiter strap. And that will be just about it for the conversion setup. Well, there's the old one. Was working fine, but needed a little bit more length. So there you have it. That's the new one. 1 inch longer with another setting that I could go a little bit further still if I really wanted to get rowdy. But that is it. Well, that pretty much wraps up our Khaos conversion kit and the Ice Age Elevate spindle kit. So this step of the off-season mods is just about done. We've got the narrower trencher front end on there, which gives us the React geometry, plus of course the added inch on spindles. The Khaos profile rails, QS3s, and of course this little headache. As you know, that was a bit of a doing, but very important according to Ice Age's website there. If you put the Elevate spindles on it and do not drop this front end of the rear skid, the result is a ton of ski pressure and not a very fun setup. So yeah, it was important that we got that. I guess this really helps drop the front of the track and re-engage the front of the track to take full advantage of lifting the front of the sled with those spindles. We're done the Khaos conversion part of this operation, and it's time to start hacking the tunnel.